Are you an Airbnb or rental property owner? Or are you a homeowner looking for a great way to ensure that you never get locked out of your house? If so, then the Kwikset Powerbolt 250 is for you. It's a great keyless entry system that allows you access into your front door, and today we're going to take a look at the unboxing and installation process. So if you're ready, let's get started. All right, so today we're going to be taking a look at the Kwikset Powerbolt 250. I'm going to go ahead and unbox everything and see what's inside the box, and then we'll get going on the installation. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and enter this piece into the door. What you'll notice when you actually look at it up close is it says up right here with an up arrow pointing, so it tells you which way to put it into the actual hole in the door on the front here. What you want to remember is you want to measure to make sure that this piece goes all the way to the edge of the hole. If it does not, what you can do is you can actually rotate this 180 degrees and you'll see that now it's longer if you need to get a little bit more depth into the door. Just want to go ahead and put it back how it was, and then what you'll see is when I slide it in, push it right in, and now you'll see we've got the perfect amount of space there. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my 2 screws and bolt it in. Okay, so the next thing we're going to pay attention to on our door is the size or diameter of this circle. Depending on the size hole that you have on your specific door, you may require this metal ring that goes on the back side of the keypad. So what you'll see is you're going to go ahead and insert this ring if you need it, and then that is going to help place the keypad on this door with the diameter of the circle. So what we're going to do is make sure that this little metal rod here is horizontal, not vertical, because this is going to slide right into the little hole over here, and that's going to be part of the locking mechanism. And then we're going to take this cable and we're going to slide it underneath the actual locking mechanism there. So we're just going to slide it on. And that is essentially what the keypad will look like on the actual door. Okay, so now that we've got the keypad on the outside of the door, what we're going to do is use this metal piece here to secure the keypad from the outside to the inside of the door. When you actually look at this piece, it says top, and so that lets you know which way you should be installing this metal piece. So I'm going to take this metal piece, I'm going to run the cable that we have from the mount on the outside, and I'm going to run it through the little center hole, and then I'm going to go ahead and hold it on the door. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use the screws that are provided to attach it to the actual keypad from the outside so it's secure to the door. All right, now at this point of installation, the directions recommend that you take the keys and you insert them into the deadbolt and you test the deadbolt mechanism. If it turns smoothly and you don't have any problems, that's a good sign. The directions say that if you do turn the key and you're having issues with the deadbolt locking mechanism, that could be a sign that you need to adjust the tightness of the screws or something needs to be adjusted. But as you can see at this point, we've got a smooth open and close of the deadbolt. So now I'm gonna go ahead and leave the deadbolt in the lock position, and we're gonna start working on installing the internal portion of the assembly. Okay, so now that we've attached the outer or exterior portion of the lock and assembly with the keypad, we're now going to install the interior portion. So this is what it looks like on the inside. We're gonna have the turning dial right here. And now if I turn this around, you'll see that we have a little red portion right here. And then we also have the portion that moves when you turn the dial. So what we want to do is have this portion in the vertical position. We do that by making sure that the dial is in the vertical position. And then in this red portion, we're going to take this cable that's attached to the keypad, and that's going to plug right into there. And then we're going to wrap the cable down and around in this little gap area that we have to make sure that the cable doesn't get bent or pinched once we push the assembly onto the door. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like once it's on the door. So now to actually fasten this portion to the door, we're just going to lift this case off, and this is also where you store the batteries. And now we have 2 screws that have been provided, and we're going to use these 2 screws to go right in these little holes, and that should attach it to the actual wall plate that we just installed. So let's go ahead and attach those now. All right, so the screws are attached. It's solid and mounted the door. Before inserting the batteries, what I'm going to do is just put the case back on, and I just want to make sure that it looks center and it looks level and it looks straight left and right, up and down. It's attached solid, and now I'm going to test the deadbolt, and it looks like it works well, so we're good. So now we're going to go ahead and move to the next step. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and install the batteries. So again, I'm just going to lift this little cover off, and then one thing I want to note also is the instructions recommend that the door is open when you install the batteries, and then also when I refer to the program button, that's going to be this button right here that we're going to use when we're actually setting up all the codes. So I'm going to go ahead and install the batteries, and then we'll get going. All right, so now that we got everything installed, we're going to go ahead and set up our first code. So let's get going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the cover from the actual interior portion and hit that program button, and then we're going to follow these steps. So I'm going to push the program button, and now I'm going to push the number 1. I'm going to push the Kwikset logo, and then I'm going to enter the code. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to hit the Kwikset logo again. And now you'll notice, so when you first set everything up, it does that with the deadbolt, and now that means that the code should be good. So now if we pretend that the door is closed, in order to lock the door, we're just going to push this Kwikset button, and so when I push it, you'll see the deadbolt comes out as if it's locking. Okay, so now the door itself would be locked if the door was closed. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter that code that we just set up and see if it works. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And now you can see the code works. Installing the Kwikset Powerbolt 250 is very quick and easy. It's a great electronic deadbolt unit to install, and it looks great from the outside. The deadbolt on the left is the old deadbolt, and the Kwikset Powerbolt 250 is on the right, and as you can see, it looks much nicer from the outside. Stay tuned for part 2 of this video, and be sure to like and subscribe for more channel updates.